Alysia and thank you so much on joining me and my team on this food sustainability journey. Before we proceed, do make sure to check out our social media handles. We are currently on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube, so make sure to give us a subscribe and a follow. Thank you so much, and let's move on. So on the previous episode, we managed to talk to Mr. Ma, who is the CEO of Indian Agriculture, about the farming sector in Singapore, and this led us to wonder about the other sectors, and we managed to score the interview with Chef Ellie, who used to be a head chef at the Black Swan, but she's currently working at Bootle's market. And the special thing about this market is that they have a kitchen, and that's where she comes in.
I think restaurants, well, the restaurants that I've been in charge of have a lot less waste because I make it a point to minimize waste. It's not something that I learned over time. It's always been quite fundamentally me. I think what our role as culinary professionals or as produce retailers is to educate the public about food waste or what they can do with, for example, you buy a head of broccoli, and a lot of people don't use the broccoli stems, right? They just cut off the florets and they throw the stem in the bin. So being in a grocery store and dealing with customers directly, it allows us to perhaps educate the customer about what they can do with stuff that they would normally put in the bin. It is really a lot about education and just making the consumers a bit more aware of what part they can do to minimize food waste.
And we also interviewed Wei Hong, who used to work under Chef Ellie.
So when I entered there, I realized that, like example, there's a fish dish, and then the bones actually used for fish stock, which goes into the fish dish. So it's actually using the whole fish, and it's actually quite cool to actually like see the whole dish from start to end, the whole process of using the whole fish. And then like I feel like there's like some pride taken to it, like hey, that is food that I want to do. So whenever I go to work, I feel motivated. And I enjoy going to work. Let's say if I use the whole animals compared to if I go somewhere, then at the end of the day, I'm like, why am I doing this kind of thing? In the end, it's gonna get thrown away. No one's gonna like it, So like, yeah. And then using the vegetables, like I don't know, broccoli, for example. How do you say, like, normally people eat just the florets and stuff, but the stems, you actually open up like a perspective, like maybe other vegetables, instead of throwing off the other unusable trims, can you make it usable? And making vegetable stock, vegetable soup, maybe making it into a sauce or something else, you never know. So it's always like a endless possibility of what you can use with these trimmings, because actually no one wants to use these trimmings, right? So it triggers the creativity, or like what can you do with all this stuff. Yeah, there's something pretty cool.
So basically, after embarking on our food sustainability journey, talking to professionals and even going to farms, I think it's time to challenge ourselves a little bit more. So I'm going to challenge one of our group members, Gabby, to cook with ugly food. Ugly food is basically off color or misshapen fruits or vegetables that do not meet the cut. So we're going to challenge Gabby to cook with ugly food, and let's see how she does it. Good luck, Gabby!